Aruba, Curacao, St. Lucia, St. Kitts. Here we go. It's 12:30, I got my rental car, I'm dropping my stuff off at the hotel and then heading an hour down to the Ventrac factory to have a little tour, and I'm staying at the Red Roof Inn because I got my own hotel and I am an idiot. Well, I'm going to be in the Caribbean soon. I'm here at the Ventrac factory to take a tour of the facility and potentially ride a tractor. I have some safety goggles because if anybody needs them, I do.
Getting a tour that not many other people do when no one's here.
I see lots of machines. And a...
bicycles, we got bicycles all over the shop.
It's so peaceful.
I like it.
Should get a lemonade and go on that thing. It's a vending machine with a screwdriver in it. This is Isaac Roth.
Hey.
And what do you do at Ventrac?
I do marketing stuff.
Marketing. And you're the one that I was in contact with to do this gig, so thank you. What goes into what kind of entertainment you guys hire? Like, why a comedian?
So, 12 years ago we brought in a comedian, and we said we would never do that again. But we decided we were going to give it a try again this year. So 12 years ago it flopped. The guy was not funny. He had bad sound audio. He told some jokes that weren't appropriate. And so it's been 12 years since we wanted to take a risk on this. So, don't screw up, Mike. Better be good. Better be good.
No pressure.
We said we wanted to laugh this year. We wanted to have some fun. We wanted somebody that had a humor that didn't make fun of some core subjects like faith or family, and didn't rely on telling a lot of drinking jokes, etc. So we wanted to find somebody that had a sense of humor that could make fun of themselves, because you can't go wrong if somebody's making fun of themselves. So
I have to make fun of myself. Have you seen me?
You should have some good material to work with, Mike.
Gordon, if I can't do this, I lose my Iowa card.
That's absolutely right.
That's right. Isaac just gave me a tour of Ventrac. It was super fun and a really nice place. Bunch of really nice employees. Met the president, and I got a free t-shirt and a free hoodie and a free coffee. It really doesn't take much to impress me. I'm sold for life because of free stuff. Also, tractor driving is terrifying and awesome, and I really thought I was gonna die. Not because it wasn't safe, but because I'm Mike Brody. And now I'm heading back to the wonderful, luxurious Red Roof Inn to go take a nap. I'm here at the Greystone Event Center for the show. Turns out I drove 3/4 of the way here for 45 minutes with my lights off because it's a rental and I'm dumb. I'm really excited for this gig. There's like 400 people in there, maybe 500. It seems like a really good company. Their employees seem to be really happy, so good people. And there's some Amish people. They have like 20 or 30 Amish people, which is cool. That'll be a first. That's for the checklist. I have not performed for Amish people yet, but I will. I'm gonna be the #1 Amish comedian in the world.
Hey, Ventrac, how you guys doing? Comedy is one of the few jobs I can think of where you don't get trained at all. Like, they just throw you up there, like, figure it out, right? And so one of my early paid shows. I was doing a show in the middle of nowhere, and it was a free show. And like, you guys all got in for free tonight, but that's because it's a company party. You know, that would be weird to charge at the door. Although, cha-ching, next year. But you don't want, for a regular comedy thing, you don't want a free show because people need to value it to put something in, right? Otherwise, you got, what I got that day for my first ever paid show was a hotel bar full of construction workers who'd been drinking since noon and did not know a comedy show was about to happen. And like tonight, Isaac brought me up, he did a great job, and we had the video, it was really fun. We didn't have any of that. We had a bartender who could not be more upset that this was happening. I'm not making up a word of this story. He gets up on stage and he goes, "Hey guys, guess there's comedy tonight?" He goes, "We gotta turn the football game off, not my call." What the? Storms up and I'm like, "Hey, Mike Brody." I haven't even touched the microphone. The head construction worker stands up and he goes, "Loser!" It's like, okay, hi. And then he goes, "Loser!" because he didn't think I heard him. And that went on for a while. And I was young and I'm from the Midwest, so I was doing positive affirmations in my head. I'm like, you know, that guy's got some anger issues, but no matter what happens, you're still a good person. And so, and I forgot to tell you the most important part. That was the show my dad decided to come to. It's like, let's see if my son's wasting his life. So he sits in the back, and so that guy the guy that was yelling at me goes outside to have a cigarette. I started to do okay because there wasn't somebody yelling at me every 2 seconds. He comes back in, sees the table laughing, and he's mad at the table. He's like, "Why are you laughing at this?" Blah, 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 blah. He sits in the front row. He grabs a coaster and he throws it, and it perfectly right between the eyes. And it was like a coming-of-age moment for me. It was like a turning point in my life. Because like I said, I'm Midwestern, and we push it down, we push it down, we push it down. I can't take it anymore. Ah! Lutherans! Like, I lost my mind, and I just started yelling at him. I don't even remember half of what I was saying. I was just like speaking in tongues. I was like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And I remember he was wearing an Affliction shirt, because of course. And then, as I'm yelling at him, he looks down at the table in shame, and I go, "No, you look at me! You look at me when I talk to you!" I go, "You shut up!" And then I go, "Look, Dad, I'm a man!" And you guys were fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a great Christmas, New Year, and all that. Thank you, guys.
So Isaac, thanks for having me. What'd you think? You think it went well?
Hey, the crowd loved it. For being a crowd that was a pretty tame crowd, conservative crowd, you had them rolling, Mike. Excellent job.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Again, we'd recommend you to anybody.
Just got done with the gig for Ventrac. It was awesome. Great group of people. They clearly loved working there. I razzed them a bit in a good way, and they were good sports, and they enjoyed it. And I just really like performing for a good group of people. Like, you could tell they were nice folks. So that's always a nice feeling. And I made the Amish people laugh. This is the sexy side of comedy that most people don't get to see when you lose half of your underwear and have to buy more at Walmart. It's 5 a.m. heading to the airport from Cleveland, going to Minneapolis, then on to Miami and San Juan, Puerto Rico. I am so tired, I got 3.5 hours of sleep. I landed right when my next flight is leaving, and so I'm running, but I'm carrying a ton of bags, so this is me running. This is the fastest Mike Brody goes. I love Minnesota, but these are foreign objects in December. Ideally, I would fly from Minneapolis to Cleveland for my corporate gig, and then from Cleveland down to Miami, and then down to San Juan. But these gigs were booked separately, and I wasn't able to do that, so I flew from Minneapolis to Cleveland, back to Minneapolis the next day, and then didn't even leave the airport, immediately got on a plane for Miami, and then down to San Juan. So it was a little bit more than I would have liked. So there seems to be a stigma about cruise comedy with some people, and it's completely false. People think it's just old blue-haired people in the corner of a cafeteria and you stand there and tell jokes. It's not at all. The upsides are so great. The upsides are the pay is great, and basically you're just doing a big room, a comedy club in a ship. That's what it is, a big comedy club in a ship. And you get to see all these countries for free. It's amazing. I'm loving every second of it every time I'm out there. I can't wait for the next one when it's coming up. The downside to cruise comedy is that you're away from your family for 7 to 14 days on average. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's just a week. But that could be hard because I love Minneapolis. I love being home. I love my wife. I love my dogs, but the other side is that, my wife can come with. She can, come with on the trip sometimes. So it just depends on if she wants to or what her schedule is. The dogs can't. I would love to bring my dogs on a cruise, but they would see a sea turtle and then and also the movie Jaws made me terrified of a dog being in the ocean. So sorry, Daisy, Frosty, and Mo. Stuck in the tundra. So I don't actually know what time check-in is tomorrow. I have to look it up. I go really early. I get there hours early before they even start checking people in because I'm so paranoid. Because the first ever cruise I did, I just went to the pier. I had the taxi take me to the pier because I was like, that's where the ships are, right? Well, turns out there's like 12 ships at every port. I didn't think that part through, so I got on the wrong ship. I literally asked the security guard, like, hey, I'm a comedian on a ship, on this ship, and he goes, I got you. He was like being all cool. He's like, I got you. Well, and he took me all the way through, and I get in there, and they're like, you're on the wrong ship. And I was like, uh-oh. And I had I had to get in another cab. It took me 10 minutes to get to the right ship. And I texted my wife and I go, I'm on the wrong boat. But then because I was in such a hurry and then I was on the ship where those hulls, when you get down in the ship, there's no internet connection when you get down in those really deep hull parts. I didn't text her again for 4 hours because I couldn't. And so all she saw was a text from me that said, I'm on the wrong boat. It all worked out. Hours later, I was like, oh yeah, I made it, I'm fine. But she had a tense 4 hours. Alright, it's morning, I'm about to take an Uber to the ship. It's called a ship, not a boat. People get really weird if you call it a boat. Apparently that's a real rookie mistake. It is a ship. I am heading there. I can't really show you the inside of the ship or the guests because there's rules against that, but I can show you the different countries that I'm going to and share about my shows. I am super stoked. Let's get some sun on this dome. I took an Uber, but there's a crazy traffic jam, so I'm walking it says 30 minutes. We'll see. I made it. This week we have 9 shows. On Sunday we have 3 shows, 7, 9, and 11. On Tuesday we have 3 shows, 7, 9, 11. And on Friday we have 3 shows, 7, 9, 11. The 7 shows are G-rated, the 9 shows are PG-13, and the 11 are R. I've done several of these cruises now. I've had as many as 14 shows, so this is actually kind of a light load, so it's kind of going to be a fun week because I get to lay around and read books and tan my bad self. I have 3 shows tonight, 7, 9, and 11. I have most of the day here to just go and swim in Aruba, but I got to get back and make sure I drink a bunch of water so I'm not super dehydrated for the show. I love this. I love my job. I love everything. The world is great. It is impossible to be in Aruba and not have the song Kokomo by the Beach Boys stuck in my head. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take that. salt water in my mouth. Sounds like a dare. I walked from the port to this hotel in about a day pass, and now I'm spending the day lounging on the beach. Back to the ship, where I'm going to watch some movies, read a book, and, I don't know, possibly become captain. It's up to me. So I'm having a real good time on the trip. It does get a little bit lonely. You are kind of alone a lot, even though there's thousands of people on the ship. You don't really know any of them. You get to know some of them, but I run into the other comics every once in a while, but generally I'm just kind of walking around by myself, and it's Christmas time. There's like a foot of snow in Minneapolis right now, but I love Christmas time. I actually like the winter. It's nice to get some sun, but there's a little bit of, like, I guess literally cabin fever here. But I'm getting a lot of vitamin D. My screensaver is of my dogs and my wife, so I love that. And I'm not complaining. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm in Curacao, and but it's just part of the road. It's part of the road. Part of cruises. It's just, you know, you walk around and you talk to people and they say good job, and then you go your way and you be friendly. And I took the bus from the port to a road, and I'm walking through some back ways to get to the resort, Calabash Cove. It's beautiful in St. Lucia. There's flowers, so many bright flowers. Weather's perfect. I'm out of breath because there's a lot of hills. It's a very hilly island. Infinity pool at the resort. It's raining right now, but the thing about St. Lucia is it'll rain for 20 or 40 minutes and then it'll clear up. See? Sun's coming out. Today is a port day, which means I have the whole day, because we don't have shows during the day, it's only nighttime shows. So when we port in a country, I get the whole day to just go off and hang out in places like this. I got a day pass, it was $25. Get to lay on the beach, go in the infinity pool, and then we have 3 shows tonight. And it is kind of a different element, like a different challenge to go up and do a show on a port day, because when it's on a sea day, you know, people are looking for stuff to do and they're all ready to go. But for a port day, they've been out in the sun and they're all sun-baked and they're a little tired and maybe even kind of really drunk, and they're still really fun shows, but it's like a different muscle you have to kind of like wake them up and shake them. And yeah, that's what I've learned. That's something that you don't experience on land. It just occurred to me that I forgot to ask if St. Lucia has sharks. So, you never really know anyway. When I was in Jamaica, I asked him if they had sharks, and he's like, no sharks. And then I go, oh, it's too bad, I really like sharks. And he's like, we can find you some sharks. So, it just depends on what they're trying to sell you. Okay, so I just had a bit of an adventure. I was at the resort and I was gonna walk back to the bus because I took the bus there. It was a $1 bus there, $1 bus back, and that's what I was gonna do, but it was a bit of a walk to the bus stop, and a guy that worked at the resort in like an old truck, and he had a shirt on that said the resort's name. He's like, "Hey, where are you going?" And I go, "Going to the bus stop and then to the cruise." And he goes, "Get in, I'll give you a ride." And then I'm assuming he's gonna take me down to the end of the block, and then I'm gonna get up at the bus stop. And then he keeps going, and I go, "Oh, are you taking me all the way to the cruise?" And then he took me through a detour of this residential neighborhood that I hadn't seen before, and he stops at his house, and he's like, "Come on in and meet my family." And I stop, and I meet his family, and they're freaking awesome. They're called the Dulcies. Their house is called Dulceville. His name is King Dulcie. We sat around and talked, and they told jokes and laughed. It ended up being this really fun experience where I got to like hang out with a real St. Lucian family, and they were like totally awesome and really sweet and really funny, and I wish I could have stayed the whole night. This one's for Dulceville.
You've heard him on XM Radio. He has a dry bar comedy special. A big round of applause for Mike Brody!
Atlanta's Comedy Club 9 o'clock show. Let me hear it. How you guys doing? You can do better than that. How you guys doing? Let me hear it. That was about the same, but I'll let it slide.
This is what the ports look like a lot. A lot of liquor and cigars and all kinds of shirts and stuff like that. It's really kind of like an artificial town that they have set up for tourists to just buy stuff, but it's sunny and it's nice, and we got a cab today and went to the beach, and it was beautiful, so life is good. I'm getting paid to do this. There's a foot of snow in Minneapolis. I am not complaining about a thing. It's the Atlantic on the left, the Pacific on the right. So, rookie mistake. I thought that St. Kitts was part of the U.S. Virgin Islands. I turned my phone on for 3.5 hours, and I am really mad because now I'm gonna have a huge phone bill. I think always know where you are and what the phone plan is. I'm going to call them in Puerto Rico and try to see if I could sweet talk and bat my eyelashes just like that, and see if I can get them to take the money off, because I've actually made that mistake before and I got it taken off, but I don't know. Oh man, that is the worst. Hey, I'm in St. Kitts with a couple monkeys. What are these guys' names?
Snoop Dogg, Bob Marley, and Donald Trump.
Which one? Is this Donald Trump right here?
That's right.
That's Donald Trump, and then Snoop Dogg must be right here,
Yeah.
and then this is Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
Hey, how old are these guys?
From 5 years down, all
5
the
years old. Oh, they're soft.
Absolutely.
Ah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey. Touring Castillo San Felipe del Morro in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Got some time before the airport. Hey everybody, I'm back in Minneapolis. I was so exhausted last night that I forgot to record when I got home. But it was a long day, started at 5 a.m. at the disembark meeting, and then flew from Puerto Rico to Atlanta to Minneapolis, got home about 11:30. But now I'm back with my dogs. Boop. And I am excited to be home. It's weird going from 85-degree weather to -10 or whatever it is, but I'm fine. I got a hat on. I don't currently have a hat on. Spiritually, I have a hat on. But I have some Christmas parties now, and I'm excited to continue on. If you want to check out my full comedy special on Dry Bar, go to the link below and check it out. MikeBrody.com as well. Thank you so much. It's fun bringing you guys along for these, so please subscribe if you enjoy this on my YouTube channel.